Hello and welcome to Harmony Hall, a sacred space for all. As we gather in peace, we will grow in our beliefs and let our spirits breathe, as we gently explore the many faiths and religions that shape our spiritual world. Harmony Hall is a place of respect, reflection, and spiritual curiosity. Today around the campfire,
we journey into one of the most revered, sacred texts of ancient India, where timeless wisdom, profound philosophy, and one remarkable conversation between a warrior and the divine have inspired generations for thousands of years. Within the Bhagavad Gita, questions of duty, righteousness, devotion, purpose, and the search for inner peace unfold through a dialogue between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As Arjuna stands torn between compassion and duty, Krishna reveals teachings on the soul, selfless action, devotion, meditation, and the path towards spiritual liberation. Lessons that continue to guide millions around the world today. Its wisdom asks questions that still echo across time. What is our true duty? How should we act when faced with difficult choices? How can we find peace in times of uncertainty? For thousands of years, the Bhagavad Gita has shaped Hindu philosophy, spirituality, literature, and devotion, inspiring spiritual seekers, philosophers, and countless people across India and throughout the world. Together, we'll explore how one conversation on an ancient battlefield became one of humanity's greatest spiritual works. So come with me today, as we journey into one of the most revered sacred texts in Hinduism, exploring the timeless dialogue between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna. A conversation that has inspired spiritual seekers, philosophers, and millions of people for thousands of years. As we explore one of the world's most profound and beautiful sacred texts, it is called the Bhagavad Gita. Today, the Bhagavad Gita remains one of the world's most influential sacred scriptures, offering timeless teachings on duty, righteousness, devotion, selfless action, and the search for inner peace. Its wisdom continues to inspire millions across India and throughout the world today.
thank you for being here today, and for choosing Harmony Hall to help you on your spiritual walk to self-discovery.
Before we begin, the story of the Bhagavad Gita. There are a few important ideas you will hear throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Words such as dharma, karma, atman, and yoga. The first idea is dharma. Dharma is one's sacred duty. Dharma is our purpose, our calling in life. In the Bhagavad Gita, for Arjuna, as a warrior, his dharma is to fight for justice. The second idea is karma. Karma is the law of cause and effect. Every action has consequences. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches Arjuna how to act with wisdom rather than attachment. The third idea is Atman. Atman is the eternal self. Atman is your soul. Atman is your true self. In the Bhagavad Gita teaches how to learn and recognize the Atman beyond the body and mind. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. These things all change. But your Atman, your soul, is who you truly are. The last idea is yoga. Yoga means union. Yoga is the path that unites us with our true self. In the Bhagavad Gita, yoga means more than physical exercise. It is the path that unites us with our true self. The Bhagavad Gita describes many different paths of yoga. And today we will discover them all as we journey into the story of the Bhagavad Gita. Imagine a vast open plain. The air is thick with tension. The ground trembles under the weight of two massive armies. They are poised for a war that will change the course of history. This is the battlefield of Kurukshetra, told from the pages of the Bhagavad Gita. On one side, you have one family. On the other side, you have their cousins, their teachers, their friends. It is a war that pits brother against brother. It's a moment of profound crisis. And right here, in the middle of this epic conflict, our story begins. It's a story about a conversation between a warrior prince in despair and his divine guide. This battlefield isn't just a historical location from ancient India. It's a powerful metaphor for our own lives. How many times have you felt like you were on a battlefield, pulled in different directions by conflicting duties and desires, facing a choice where there seems to be no right answer? That feeling of being stuck, of being overwhelmed by the immensity of your own challenges. That is your Kurukshetra. The Bhagavad Gita understands this. It meets us right there, in the midst of our personal battles. It tells us that it is in these moments of crisis, these moments of deep uncertainty, that the greatest opportunity for growth and wisdom can be found. The Bhagavad Gita, which means the Song of God, is part of a much larger epic poem from India called the Mahabharata. But the Bhagavad Gita has stood on its own for thousands of years. Why? Because its message is timeless. It's universal. It doesn't matter what your background is, what you believe, or where you come from. The struggles of the heart are the same for all of us. The search for meaning, the desire for peace, the need to understand our place in the world. The Bhagavad Gita has guided this search. It's a song for the soul, the Song of God. And today, we are going to start listening to its music together. Our story centers around two central figures. First, there is Arjuna. He is a great warrior, a prince of the Pandava family. He is known for his incredible skill with a bow and arrow. He is a hero, a man who has always known his duty. He has been trained his whole life for this moment, for this battle. He is supposed to lead his family to victory and reclaim their rightful kingdom. He is the one everyone is counting on. He is strong, he is capable, and he is a good man. But on this day, on the battlefield, something happens to Arjuna. He asks his charioteer to drive him to the center of the battlefield. He wants to see who he is about to fight. And as he looks across the plain, his heart sinks. He sees his own family. He sees his cousins. He sees his beloved teachers. He sees grandfathers. He sees uncles. He sees friends. Suddenly, the reality of this war hits him like a physical blow. To win this kingdom, he will have to kill the people he loves, and his spirit breaks. But Arjuna is not alone. Beside him stands his charioteer. His name is Krishna, a man whose words will change not only Arjuna's life, but the lives of millions of people for thousands of years to come. Krishna will become Arjuna's guide, teacher, and the voice at the heart of the Bhagavad Gita, and will become known as Lord Krishna. To the world, Krishna is a cousin, a best friend, a wise prince from a neighboring kingdom. But Krishna is much more than that. In the Bhagavad Gita, we learn that he is the divine, the supreme being, God in human form. He is the source of all wisdom. He is the source of all love. He is the source of all truth. He is driving Arjuna's chariot. He is also here to guide Arjuna's soul. He is the voice of eternal wisdom, ready to speak directly to a heart in crisis. And so the Bhagavad Gita begins as a dialogue. It starts with a conversation between a human being in his darkest hour of his life and the divine, the source of all light. Arjuna, our hero, is completely overwhelmed. He drops his bow and his arrow. I will not fight. He is paralyzed by grief. He is paralyzed by confusion. He is paralyzed by despair. He is paralyzed by betrayal. He no longer knows what to do. And in that moment of surrender, in that moment of true vulnerability, he admits, I don't know. He turns to Krishna to ask for guidance. And this is where the Bhagavad Gita begins. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, on the great plains of ancient India. It teaches us that the first step toward wisdom is admitting that we need help. It is in our vulnerability that we open ourselves up to grace. The Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 1. Arjuna Vishada, Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's despair. We begin on the sacred plain of Kurukshetra. The air is still, but it hums with a terrible energy. Two great armies stand facing each other. On one side are the Pandavas, 5 noble brothers. On the other side are the Kauravas, their 100 cousins. On the sacred field of Kurukshetra, gathered together and eager for battle, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Sanjaya begins his narration, the sounds of the conch shells being blown, which sound like a roar that shakes heaven and earth. In the midst of this epic scene, we find Arjuna. And at the reins is his charioteer, his friend, his guide, Krishna. Arjuna, confident and ready, lifts his divine bow, the Gandiva.
O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so I may see those who stand here, desirous of fighting.
Krishna drives the magnificent chariot into the open space between the two massive armies. He stops right in front of the most revered figures on the opposing side, Bhishma and Drona. And Arjuna looks. He sees it all. He sees his grandfathers, his teachers, his uncles, and his dearest friends. An immense wave of compassion and sorrow washes over Arjuna. The strength drains from his limbs. His legendary bow, the Gandiva, slips from his grasp.
My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, a kingdom or happiness.
He argues that destroying a family, a dynasty, leads to the collapse of the entire social fabric. Sacred traditions will be lost, and future generations will suffer as the family lineage falls into decline. Arjuna casts aside his bow and arrows. He sinks down onto the seat of the chariot, his mind completely overwhelmed with sorrow. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, the Yoga of Knowledge. Chapter 2 opens with Krishna seeing Arjuna in pity and despair. Krishna's first response is not gentle sympathy.
My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Give up such petty weakness of heart, and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. How can I counterattack with arrows Bhishma Drona, who are worthy of my worship? I am confused about my duty, and have lost all composure because of weakness. I am now your disciple, a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me.
Arjuna surrenders himself to Krishna, asking him to teach him what is truly right. And so the real teaching of the Bhagavad Gita begin now. Krishna smiles. His voice became calm and steady. He begins his profound instruction.
The wise grieve neither for the living, nor for the dead. The embodied soul passes in this body from boyhood, youth, old age. The soul similarly passes into another body at death.
This is the foundation of everything that will follow. You are not your body. The body is temporary, like a set of clothes. The real you, the soul, is eternal and can never be destroyed. After establishing the eternal nature of the soul, Krishna shifts his focus to Arjuna's specific situation. For a warrior, there is no better engagement than fighting for a righteous cause. You will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. For a person of honor, dishonor is worse than death. O son of Kunti! Either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin. Krishna now explains this new kind of consciousness. He calls it Buddhi Yoga. On this path, intelligence one-pointed and resolute, aim singular. In contrast, unresolved minds are many-branched, pulled in 100 directions by desire for pleasure, desire for power. Krishna urges Arjuna to rise above this mentality. Free yourself from all dualities. Be established in the self. This leads to one of the most famous verses. Krishna, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. You are not entitled to the fruits of action. It's your dharma. Do your best. Then let go. Results are not up to you. You achieve equanimity, inner peace. Krishna calls this yoga. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. Chapter 3 answers Arjuna's next question. If knowledge is greater than action, why should I fight? Krishna now begins to unfold one of the Bhagavad Gita's central teachings. We cannot avoid action, but we can choose how we act. Perform your duties without attachment to the results. Perform your duties without attachment to success or failure. It is the sincerity of your actions, not the outcome, that truly matters. This is the first hint of the Bhagavad Gita's central teaching. Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action. The third chapter begins with Arjuna feeling even more confused. This feels like a direct contradiction. Arjuna asks, "O Janardana, if intelligence is better than fruitive work, why make me fight? Please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial." True inaction is impossible for an embodied being. No one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Someone who restrains senses but whose mind clings to sense objects is a pretender. Krishna now champions the path of Karma Yoga, a practical, honest approach for most people. Perform your prescribed duty. Doing so is better than not working. Krishna gives the key: work as a sacrifice. A cosmic cycle of cooperation follows. Humans perform sacrifices that nourish the devas. The devas, in turn, give rain, which produces food. Great men and women set examples for others. Whatever a great man does, common men follow. As a leader and hero, Arjuna must act correctly because others will look to him. Chapter 4, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The yoga of knowledge and renunciation through action. In the fourth chapter, Krishna reveals something astonishing. This philosophy of selfless action is not something new. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivasvan. Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. It is a timeless truth that guided humanity from the beginning. But in course of time the succession was broken, therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. That very ancient science, the same one we are discussing today here in Harmony Hall, Arjuna is puzzled. He asks, "The sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him?" Krishna responds, "Many, many births both you and I have passed," he says. "I can remember all of them, but you cannot." Though unborn and eternal, Krishna explains that he chooses to appear in the world through his own divine power. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. His mission, he explains, is to protect the righteous, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of dharma. Chapter 5, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, the yoga of renunciation. As Chapter 5 begins, Arjuna asks another important question. Which path is better? Renouncing action altogether, or performing one's duties through Karma Yoga? Krishna answers clearly. Renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good. But work in devotional service is better than renunciation. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of actions is known as always renounced. True renunciation is an internal state. It's giving up attachment to results, not giving up the actions themselves. Krishna now offers one of the most beautiful and famous metaphors. He says, "One who performs his duty without attachment is unaffected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water." This is the ideal of the Karma Yogi. We are asked to learn how to live in it without being stained by it. They are in the world, but they are not of it. Chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga, the yoga of meditation. As Chapter 6 begins, Krishna explains meditation is the natural next step. After mastering selfless action, True renunciation is not abandoning work, but performing one's duties without attachment. The disciplined mind. Krishna teaches that the mind can become either our greatest friend or our greatest enemy. The one who has mastered the mind finds peace, while the one who has not remains restless. The practice of meditation. Now that Krishna has described the goal of meditation, he gives Arjuna very specific practical instructions. To practice yoga, go to a secluded place. Hold the body erect. Gaze steadily at the tip of the nose. With a controlled mind, meditate on Krishna within the heart, the middle path. Krishna warns against extremes. Success in yoga does not come through excessive eating or fasting, too much sleep or not enough sleep. Balance and moderation are essential. After hearing these detailed instructions, Arjuna raises a very real and relatable objection. O Madhusudana, the system of yoga appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Krishna agrees. O mighty-armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. The steady mind. When the mind wanders, it should be gently brought back again. Through patience and practice, the mind gradually becomes peaceful and unwavering, seeing the divine everywhere. The perfected yogi sees the same divine presence in every living being and understands that all of life is connected. Arjuna's concern. Arjuna admits that controlling the mind seems nearly impossible, comparing it to trying to restrain the wind. Krishna's reassurance. Krishna agrees that the mind is difficult to control, but says it can be mastered through practice and detachment. The fate of the unsuccessful yogi. Arjuna wonders what happens if someone begins the spiritual path, but fails before reaching perfection. Krishna reassures him that no sincere spiritual effort is ever lost. Such a person continues their journey in a future life, picking up where they left off. Krishna ends chapter 6 by declaring that all yogis, the greatest is the one who worships the divine with unwavering faith and devotion. Chapter 7. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge and realization. In chapter 7, Krishna shifts the focus of his teachings. He now begins to reveal more about the ultimate goal of all spiritual practice, with himself as the supreme truth. He starts by describing his separated energies, his inferior material nature.
Besides this, there is another superior nature of mine, the living entities.
This superior energy is the living beings themselves, the eternal spirit souls. Krishna now reveals that he is the source of all creation.
There is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread.
Just as an unseen thread holds together a beautiful necklace, Krishna explains that the entire universe is sustained by his presence, even though it is often unseen. Krishna then begins describing how his presence can be recognized throughout everyday life.
I am the taste of water. I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the sacred syllable Om in the Vedas.
He is the sound in space, the ability in human beings, the fragrance of the earth, the heat of fire, the life in every living creature, and the strength of the strong when it is free from selfish desire. Rather than being distant, Krishna teaches that the divine can be experienced throughout the whole of creation. Krishna explains that the world is influenced by three qualities of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. These qualities shape our thoughts, desires, and actions, causing living beings to become attached to the material world. Because of this divine illusion, known as Maya, many fail to recognize Krishna's true nature.
This divine energy of mine is difficult to overcome, but those who take refuge in me cross beyond it.
Krishna then describes 4 kinds of people who turn toward him. Some seek him in times of suffering. Some seek material prosperity or relief from life's difficulties. Others seek knowledge and understanding. And some approach him because they already know and love him. Of these, Krishna says,
The wise devotee, the one who knows me with unwavering devotion, is especially dear to me.
Krishna explains that many people worship other gods and deities according to their own faith and desires. He says that he strengthens their faith, and they may receive the temporary results they seek. But all such rewards are temporary. The highest destination, he teaches, comes through knowing the supreme reality itself. Many people, Krishna says, mistake him for an ordinary human being because they cannot perceive his eternal divine nature. Veiled by his own divine power, he is not fully recognized by everyone. Yet Krishna knows all beings, the past, the present, and the future, even though very few truly know him. Krishna concludes the chapter by explaining that those who free themselves from illusion and dedicate themselves to him come to understand the deepest truths of existence. They come to know Brahman, the self, karma, and the supreme reality. Even at the moment of death, those whose minds remain fixed upon him attain true spiritual understanding. With this, Krishna prepares Arjuna for the deeper revelations that follow in Chapter 8. Chapter 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga, the Yoga of the Imperishable Absolute. As Chapter 8 begins, Arjuna asks some of the deepest questions in the Bhagavad Gita. Questions about the nature of reality, the soul, and the path to the Supreme Being.
What is Brahman? What is the self? What is karma? What is the material world? What is the divine? How can those engaged in devotional service know me at their time of death?
Krishna answers,
And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
the thought dominant at death is the thought dominant throughout life.
Therefore, Arjuna, always think of me, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. You will attain me without doubt.
Krishna explains that through constant practice and an undistracted mind, a person can remember the Supreme even at the final moment of life.
One who remembers me at the time of death, with mind fixed upon me alone, comes to me without doubt.
He describes the Supreme Being as eternal, beyond darkness, beyond all change, and the source of all existence. Krishna then explains an ancient practice of meditation. With the mind steady, the breath controlled, and awareness centered between the eyebrows, the yogi departs this world while remembering the divine.
With unwavering devotion and a disciplined mind, one reaches the supreme divine person.
Krishna next speaks about the nature of time itself.
Even the highest heavenly worlds are temporary. They rise, endure for a time, and eventually pass away.
But reaching the supreme reality brings freedom from the endless cycle of birth and death. He describes the vast cycles of creation, where the universe repeatedly comes into existence and later dissolves, only to begin again. Yet beyond these changing worlds is an eternal reality that never perishes.
That supreme abode is my highest destination. Having reached it, one never returns.
Finally, Krishna describes two symbolic paths spoken of by the ancient sages. One is the bright path, associated with spiritual liberation. The other is the path that leads the soul back into the cycle of rebirth. Understanding these teachings, Krishna says, helps remove confusion about the journey beyond death. With these teachings complete, Krishna prepares Arjuna for an even deeper revelation. In the next chapter, Krishna begins revealing what he calls the most confidential knowledge, the path of loving devotion and his relationship with all living beings. Chapter 9. The Yoga of Royal Knowledge and Royal Secret. As we enter the 9th chapter, the conversation shifts to an even more intimate and profound level. Krishna tells Arjuna that he is about to reveal the most confidential knowledge, a teaching that brings both wisdom and direct spiritual realization.
This knowledge is the king of all knowledge and the greatest of all secrets.
Krishna explains that although he pervades the entire universe, he remains beyond it. All beings exist within him, yet he is not limited by the material world. He is both the source of creation and the one who sustains it, while remaining untouched by its constant changes.
All beings rest in me, yet I remain beyond them.
Many people, Krishna says, fail to recognize his divine nature because they see only his human appearance. But those who understand his true nature worship him with unwavering devotion, seeing him as the eternal source of all existence. Krishna continues by revealing that he is present in every sacred act.
I am the ritual, the sacrifice, the offering, the sacred fire, the sacred syllable Om, and the Vedas.
He tells Arjuna that he is the father, the mother, the sustainer, and even the grandfather of the universe. He is the refuge, the witness, the friend of all beings, and the source, support, and final resting place of all existence. Krishna explains that people worship the divine in many different ways. Some seek prosperity, others seek wisdom, while many worship different deities according to their own traditions and understanding. He teaches that sincere worship ultimately reaches the same supreme reality, though people may not always recognize its true source.
Whatever form a devotee worships with faith, it is I who make that faith steady.
Krishna explains that those who perform rituals seeking heavenly rewards may indeed reach heavenly worlds, but those rewards are temporary. When the merit of those actions is exhausted, the soul returns once more to the cycle of birth and death. Only devotion to the Supreme leads beyond this endless cycle. Krishna now gives one of the most reassuring promises in the entire Bhagavad Gita.
To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I carry what they lack and preserve what they already have.
Krishna assures Arjuna that those who place their trust in him are never abandoned. He promises to provide what they truly need and to protect the spiritual progress they have already made. Then Krishna offers one of the most comforting invitations in the entire Bhagavad Gita.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, do that as an offering to me.
Krishna explains that true devotion is not measured by wealth, status, or elaborate rituals. What matters most is the sincerity of the heart. This, he says, is the master key to spiritualizing one's entire life. Krishna declares that he is equal toward all beings.
I am equal to all beings. I neither hate nor favor anyone, but those who worship me with devotion dwell in me, and I dwell in them.
Those who approach him with love and devotion experience his presence in a special way because they willingly open their hearts to him. One of the chapter's most encouraging teachings comes next. Krishna explains that even someone who has made serious mistakes in life should never be considered beyond redemption. If they sincerely turn toward the divine with unwavering devotion, they can transform their life and walk the path of righteousness.
Even if a person has lived wrongly, if they worship me with wholehearted devotion, they are to be regarded as righteous.
Krishna reminds Arjuna that life is temporary, but the opportunity for spiritual growth is always present. No matter a person's background, status, or past, the path of devotion remains open to everyone. He concludes the chapter with one final invitation.
Fix your mind on me, become devoted to me, worship me, bow down to me, thus united with me you shall surely come to me.
Chapter 9 reveals why it is called the Yoga of Royal Knowledge and Royal Secret. Here, Krishna reveals not only profound spiritual truths, but also his personal relationship with all living beings. He presents devotion as the simplest and highest path, a path open to every sincere seeker. With these teachings complete, Krishna prepares Arjuna for an even deeper revelation in chapter 10, where he begins describing the countless ways his divine presence is reflected throughout the universe. Chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, the Yoga of Divine Glories. The 10th chapter continues the theme.
Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin. I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Krishna explains he is the source of all creation.
I am the self seated in the hearts of all living beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all existence.
Krishna says that those who lovingly devote themselves to him are never abandoned. He gives them the understanding they need to draw closer to him.
To those who are constantly devoted to me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Out of compassion, Krishna says he dwells within the hearts of his devotees, destroying the darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge.
Out of compassion, I destroy the darkness born of ignorance with the shining lamp of knowledge. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Among the stars, I am the moon. Among mountains, the mighty Himalayas. Among bodies of water, the ocean. Among animals, the lion. Among birds, Garuda, the eagle. Know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
After hearing about Krishna's limitless glories, Arjuna is overwhelmed. A great desire arises in his heart. He wants to witness this cosmic reality for himself.
I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, then kindly show me that universal self.
Krishna grants his request. Chapter 11 begins here. In the next chapter, we continue from this very moment as Krishna reveals his universal form to Arjuna. Chapter 11, Vishvarupa Darshana Yoga. The Yoga of the Vision of the Universal Form. Chapter 11 begins exactly where Chapter 10 ended. Krishna grants Arjuna's request to reveal his true universal form.
I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, then kindly show me that universal self.
But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence.
The Supreme Lord displays his universal form. What Arjuna sees is beyond description. He sees a form with countless mouths, countless eyes, countless wonderful visions. It is all wonderful, brilliant, unlimited, and all-expanding. If hundreds of thousands of suns rose at once, their radiance might resemble that effulgence. Within that single form, he sees the entire universe. He sees all the gods, all the sages, and all of creation within Krishna's body. Arjuna's reaction is instantaneous and overwhelming. Bewildered and astonished, his hair stands on end. He bows with hands folded in prayer and speaks. Yet awe turns to terror. He sees mouths like blazing fires and terrible teeth. He sees all the warriors on the battlefield, rushing into those mouths. He sees them crushed between the teeth. The universal form is not just the creator, it is also the destroyer. Arjuna witnesses time itself, the great devourer of all things. The vision fills Arjuna with unbearable fear. He cries out,
O Lord of Lords, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance. I am bewildered and find no peace.
The universal form declares,
Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you can be but an instrument in the fight.
After the overwhelming and terrifying vision, Arjuna is shaken to his core. He pleads with Krishna to withdraw the cosmic form and return to his gentle, human-like appearance. Krishna graciously agrees. He withdraws the terrifying universal form, and then his familiar two-armed human form. Seeing Krishna back to normal, Arjuna is pacified. He asks,
Which are considered more perfect? Those always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal, unmanifested Brahman?
Krishna answers immediately. Chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, begins here. Krishna now answers Arjuna's question about the path of devotion. Chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, the Yoga of Devotion. Chapter 12 begins exactly where Chapter 11 ended. Arjuna asks Krishna, which path of devotion is considered more greater? Loving devotion to the personal Lord, or worship of the unmanifest, impersonal Brahman?
Which are considered more perfect? Those always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal, unmanifested Brahman?
Krishna answers immediately.
Those who fix their minds on me and worship me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect.
Bhakti Yoga. A direct, loving, personal relationship with him is the highest and most perfect path. Worship of the unmanifest, impersonal Brahman is also a path. But Krishna explains that it is much more difficult for those living in the physical world.
Those who dedicate all their actions to me, I quickly deliver from the ocean of birth and death.
Krishna encourages Arjuna to fix his mind upon him completely.
Fix your mind on me alone.
If this proves difficult, Krishna offers a gradual path of spiritual practice.
Practice devotion through regular discipline.
If even this is beyond one's ability, Krishna teaches that dedicating one's actions to him and letting go of attachment to their results leads to peace. Krishna then describes the qualities of those devotees who are most dear to him. They are compassionate, humble, forgiving, self-controlled, content, and steady in both joy and sorrow. They remain undisturbed by praise or criticism, honor or dishonor, and seek the welfare of all beings.
Those who faithfully follow this immortal path of devotion, making me their supreme goal, are exceedingly dear to me.
Chapter 13 begins here. In the next chapter, Krishna explains the distinction between the body, the soul, and the nature of true knowledge. Chapter 13. Kshetra. Kshetraina Vibhaga Yoga. The yoga of the field and the knower of the field. Chapter 13 marks a shift in Krishna's teachings. The conversation now turns to one of the Bhagavad Gita's deepest philosophical discussions. Krishna explains the difference between the body known as the field and the soul known as the knower of the field. Chapter 13 opens with Krishna explaining what makes up the field itself.
The field includes the 5 great elements: the mind, the intellect, the ego, the senses, their objects, desire and aversion, pleasure and pain, the physical body, consciousness, and determination. This body is called the field. The entire scope of your material existence, one who knows this body, is called the knower of the field. This knower is you, your soul, your Atman. O scion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies.
Krishna then explains that true knowledge is not merely intellectual understanding, but a way of living.
Humility, honesty, non-violence, patience, self-control, detachment, and devotion to the truth are the qualities of genuine knowledge.
Everything opposed to these qualities, Krishna says, is ignorance. Krishna next describes the supreme reality that is to be known.
The Supreme is without beginning, beyond both being and non-being, present everywhere, yet beyond all things.
Though dwelling within every living being, the Supreme remains untouched and eternal. Krishna explains that nature performs all actions, while the true self simply witnesses.
Whoever sees that all actions are carried out by material nature alone, and that the self is not the doer, truly sees.
Those who recognize the same eternal self within every living being attain the highest understanding. Just as the one sun illuminates the entire world, the soul gives life to the whole body. Those who understand the difference between the field and the knower of the field are liberated from ignorance and attain the highest realizations. Chapter 14 begins here. Krishna now introduces the 3 gunas, the fundamental qualities of material nature that influence every living being. Chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the 3 gunas. In Chapter 14, Krishna introduces the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. They are the invisible strings that pull us in different directions. But the ultimate goal is not merely sattva. The ultimate goal is to transcend all 3 gunas. The transcendent is not disturbed by the gunas' effects. Krishna explains that these 3 gunas arise from material nature and bind the eternal soul to the cycle of birth and death. Sattva is the quality of goodness, purity, and wisdom. It brings clarity, peace, and happiness. Yet even goodness can bind a person through attachment to knowledge and joy. Rajas is the quality of passion, desire, and restless activity. It drives ambition and constant action, binding people through attachment to the results of their work. Tamas is the quality of ignorance, darkness, and delusion. It leads to confusion, laziness, carelessness, and neglect, keeping the mind clouded. At different times, one guna becomes stronger than the others, shaping a person's thoughts, choices, and behavior. When goodness prevails, wisdom and understanding increase. When passion dominates, desire and restlessness grow. When ignorance takes hold, confusion and delusion follow. Krishna explains that the influence of these qualities also shapes a person's destiny beyond this life. Those established in goodness rise toward higher states. Those driven by passion remain bound to worldly action. Those overcome by ignorance sink into deeper delusion. Arjuna then asks how a person who has gone beyond the three gunas can be recognized, and how such a state can be attained.
One who neither hates nor longs for the qualities of nature when they arise or disappear, who remains steady through pleasure and pain, praise and blame, honor and dishonor, has gone beyond the three gunas.
Such a person remains calm, seeing all circumstances with equal vision, free from attachment to the changing qualities of material nature.
Those who serve me with unwavering devotion rise above the three gunas and become fit to attain the eternal reality. I am the foundation of the eternal Brahman, of immortality, everlasting truth, and perfect bliss.
Krishna concludes that unwavering devotion is the path by which one transcends the three gunas and reaches the Supreme. Chapter 15. Purushottama Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Divine Person. Chapter 15 marks another shift in Krishna's teachings. Rather than describing the qualities of material nature, he now reveals the nature of the soul, the world, and the Supreme Person through one of the Bhagavad Gita's most memorable symbols. In the 15th chapter, Krishna describes the world as an upside-down banyan tree. Its roots are above, its branches spread below, and its leaves are the sacred Vedas. This tree represents worldly existence, nourished by attachment and desire. This tree represents the material world, a reflection of the higher spiritual reality.
This deeply rooted tree must be cut down with the strong axe of detachment. Only then can one seek the eternal abode, from which there is no return.
Krishna explains that those free from pride, attachment, and selfish desire reach that eternal destination.
An eternal fragment of myself becomes every living soul. As the soul passes from one body to another, it carries the mind and senses with it, just as the wind carries fragrance from one place to another.
Though the soul moves from life to life, the ignorant do not perceive this journey. Those with spiritual wisdom recognize the eternal self within.
Entering the earth, I sustain all living beings. Becoming the nourishing moon, I give life to every plant and every tree. Dwelling within every living being, I am the digestive fire. United with the breath of life, I digest the food that sustains every creature. I am the light of the sun that illuminates the world, the light of the moon, and the fire that gives warmth. Dwelling within every heart, I am the source of memory, knowledge, and understanding. Through me, the Vedas are known.
Krishna then explains that there are two kinds of beings, the perishable and the imperishable.
But beyond both is the Supreme Person, who sustains the entire universe. Because I transcend both the perishable and the imperishable, I am known as Purushottama, the Supreme Person.
Krishna concludes that whoever truly understands him as the Supreme Person possesses the highest wisdom and worships him with wholehearted devotion. Chapter 16. Daivasura Sampad Vihaga Yoga, the Yoga of the Divine and Demonic Qualities. In Chapter 16, Krishna describes two fundamental natures, the divine and the demonic. Krishna begins listing qualities of the divine nature.
The qualities of divine nature are fearlessness, charity, non-violence, compassion for all living beings, self-control, truthfulness, forgiveness.
Then Krishna describes the demonic qualities.
The demonic qualities are pride, arrogance, anger, greed, selfish desire, ignorance. They take shelter in insatiable lust.
Krishna explains that those ruled by these qualities reject truth, believing the world has no higher purpose. Driven by endless desires, they become trapped by attachment, anger, and greed.
Desire, anger, and greed are the three gates that lead to destruction. Therefore, one should abandon them. Consumed by pride and delusions, such people boast to themselves, "I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect. I am powerful. I am happy."
Krishna teaches that a life guided by selfish desire leads only to suffering, while a life guided by virtue leads toward peace and liberation. Therefore, let sacred scriptures be your guide in determining what should be done and what should be avoided. Chapter 16 concludes with Krishna encouraging Arjuna to live according to righteousness and spiritual wisdom rather than impulse and desire. Chapter 17, Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the threefold division of faith. Chapter 17 continues Krishna's teaching by explaining that every person's faith reflects their inner nature. Faith is shaped by the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Arjuna asks what becomes of those who worship with sincere faith, but do not follow the guidance of the sacred scriptures.
A person's faith follows their own nature. As a person's faith is, so too is the person.
Krishna explains that there are three kinds of faith, corresponding to the three gunas.
Those influenced by sattva worship with purity and devotion. Those influenced by rajas seek power, success, and reward. Those influenced by tamas are drawn toward ignorance and misguided forms of worship.
Krishna explains that the three gunas also influence the food people prefer, the sacrifices they perform, the discipline they practice, and the charity they give.
Foods that promote health, strength, peace, and long life belong to sattva. Foods that are excessively bitter, sour, salty, hot, or stimulating belong to rajas. Food that is stale, spoiled, or impure belongs to tamas. Sacrifice performed without desire for reward, simply because it is the right thing to do, is sattvic. Sacrifice performed for recognition or personal gain is rajasic. Sacrifice performed without faith or respect is tamasic. Self-discipline of the body, speech, and mind is praised when practiced with sincerity and humility. But discipline performed for pride, recognition, or through self-harm loses its spiritual value. Charity given at the proper time, to the proper person, without expecting anything in return, is sattvic. Charity given for reward or reputation is rajasic. Charity given carelessly, disrespectfully, or to unworthy causes is tamasic.
Krishna then explains the sacred expression.
Tat Sat.
These sacred words remind us that righteous actions should be dedicated to the Supreme and performed without attachment to personal reward.
Without faith, even sacrifice, charity, discipline, and good works lose their spiritual purpose. Actions performed without sincerity bear no lasting fruit.
Chapter 17 concludes with Krishna teaching that true faith is revealed not only in belief, but in the way a person lives, gives, speaks, and acts with sincerity, wisdom, and devotion. Chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa. Yoga, the yoga of liberation through renunciation. Chapter 18 brings Krishna's teachings to their conclusion. Arjuna asks one final question concerning renunciation and the abandonment of the fruits of action.
O Krishna, I wish to understand the true meaning of renunciation and the abandonment of the fruits of action. Are they the same, or are they different?
Some understand renunciation as giving up actions motivated by desire. Others teach that true renunciation is abandoning attachment to the fruits of all actions. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and self-discipline should never be abandoned. They purify those who perform them.
Krishna explains that every action has 5 causes, and that no person acts entirely alone. He then describes the 3 kinds of knowledge, the 3 kinds of action, and the 3 kinds of doers, according to the qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Krishna also explains the three kinds of intellect: determination and happiness, showing how each is shaped by the three gunas. He teaches that each person should faithfully perform the duty that belongs to their own nature. For it is better to perform one's own duty imperfectly than another's perfectly. Only after mastering all of these qualities does Krishna reveal the highest path to liberation. Krishna now gives Arjuna a choice.
I have now revealed to you the deepest wisdom. Reflect on it carefully, and then act as you think is right.
Krishna does not force Arjuna to obey. Instead, he invites him to choose freely, showing that true wisdom cannot be imposed. It must be accepted willingly.
Because you are dear to me, I will now share my most confidential teaching.
Krishna shares the most confidential part of all knowledge.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me, abandon all forms of duty and take refuge in me alone. I shall free you from all sin. Do not fear. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. The divine guide can show us the way, but we are the ones who must choose to walk the path.
With the teachings of Krishna complete, the choice is up to Arjuna what path he should take on his spiritual walk to self-discovery. He stands up. He lifts his head. The confusion is gone from his eyes. Arjuna declares that his confusion has vanished.
My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions.
Arjuna's doubt has vanished. His mind is clear. He is ready to fulfill his duty with wisdom and devotion. A song for all time. Sanjaya. Sanjaya shares his own ecstatic realization.
I witnessed this extraordinary conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, a dialogue so sacred that it filled me with awe. Each time I remember Krishna's divine form and his timeless teachings, my heart is filled with wonder and joy. Wherever Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, and Arjuna, the devoted warrior, stand together, there will be righteousness, victory, prosperity, and lasting peace.
This brings us to the end of the Bhagavad Gita, the Song of the Lord, a timeless dialogue on duty, wisdom, devotion, and liberation. For thousands of years, its teachings have guided seekers across India and around the world today, inspiring generations to walk the path of truth, self-discovery, and spiritual freedom. The Bhagavad Gita's message has echoed through the corridors of time. It is a universal scripture. Its wisdom is as relevant today as it was on the dusty plains of Kurukshetra. The Gita meets us wherever we are and shows us the way forward. May you always remember the song that was sung on the battlefield, and may you go forth into your life with the courage and clarity of Arjuna, ready to act, ready to love, and ready to be free.
Thank you for joining me today on this sacred walk through time. Here in Harmony Hall, we gather in peace, grow in our beliefs, and let our spirits breathe, as we gently explore the many faiths and religions that shape our spiritual world. Join us next time, as we continue this journey of wonder, wisdom, and reflection, because here in Harmony Hall, all religions are welcomed and every voice is heard.